Lemonada.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, you ask me. I'll tell you anything. I did hit record on my QuickTime, you piece of shit. I've been recording this whole time.
Well, okay, great. This is going great already.
I need to get a better grip.
Grip on what? Your life?
Because I had to double record this week because you're listening to this on the 12th.
On the 12th, yeah. Wait, okay. Iliza, I can't believe we're early recording. We haven't had your birthday yet. We haven't had your special yet. Now, in real life, both those things have happened. But we're going to have to do a double-sized catch-up the week after. So you better write down all your little notes about everything.
About my life. Look, today's March 12th, which means my new special, A Different Animal, has already ruptured the internet. Yesterday, on the 11th. And
You're
I know
actually... Nobody's listening because you were canceled already.
I know. And she woke up. She dared to wake. I feel like it's always the thing. You're like, my special's out. Like Christmas morning. It's like people have to come home from work. And a lot of people save it. See, didn't I teeth? A lot of people save it for the weekend. Just get in there. Stream it multiple times. But very excited. And I'm in New York this week. And you will have seen me on Kelly Clarkson, The Today Show, CBS. We're doing a bunch of CBS New York, live New York news, bunch of stuff. Batches. And if you're listening to this on the 12th, it's probably sold out, but I'm doing a spot at the Stand, doing Run My Hour. And then you can come see me in Toronto and Buffalo this weekend. And then, of course, coming up in Florida. So we're in the mix.
Why are you going to New York? Can you say, is it for press?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay, great.
And then because there's something wrong with me, I was like, and I should run my hour twice and drop in at the cellar.
I don't know how where do you get the energy? Is it
fear of failure?
Is that right? You're not really scared.
Genuinely enjoying the work, but also not feeling like I've accomplished anything. So I can't just rest on my laurels. Like if we were there promoting a film, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to take it. Actually, I'd probably still work.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
I have a head injury. There's something wrong with me. But we're here. I saw a lot of fun questions in the Patreon. The coffee section is blowing up. A lot of people are handing in their coffee, and we got a lot of things to say. And it's a good podcast. People enjoy. They like to take a break from their lives.
The people who are hearing this right now, you don't need to tell them this is a good podcast.
Well, for the 6 new listeners since we joined Lemonada, this is your chance. This is kind of like why you watch a dating show, to just slip in to the tumult of someone else's life and really weigh in. The stakes could not be lower for you, but they're very high for the people who write in.
Yes, that's why then they come back defending themselves.
Well, that's the thing. If you don't give the proper context, we're going to get you. And I also think in the way that you write in the question is the way that you see it. I kind of always doubt when they come back and then they're like, well, okay, but you didn't hear. I'm like, no, you gave the information in the way you wanted to deliver it. And then when we said the honest thing, you were like, but he hasn't cheated that much. And it's like, do you want the answer that's right? Or do you want the answer you want me to give you?
Fair.
We're the anti-echo chamber.
Yeah, because we almost always disagree. By the way, last week's episode, we put up a clip about you and I disagreeing, and the comments are popping off. Most people being like, yeah, I also don't want to hear Emily talk. And then some people being like, talk more about the cats.
Nobody doesn't want to hear you talk. It's just I'll be like, here's something super social that just happened. And you're like, oh, there was a bug. It's a bug. What kind of dinner? But you know what? That's also what makes you great. It is.
If you had 2 yous on this podcast.
It'd be awful.
It'd be awful.
I guest on podcasts all the time. And you're just like, what are we doing here? We got to spice it up. And women need to understand that women can be textured and different on different spectrums and still support each other.
I'm talking about the spectrums.
I didn't say what kind of spectrum. That's on you. Could be any kind of spectrum. Could be Spectrum Internet.
I am on the very lowest of the spectrum of color of skin.
I think like I'm the lowest spectrum of internet. Like I have the lowest tier.
Do you think I would have low tier internet?
No, you got it. It's like hardwired to your body.
Thank you.
Get those gigabytes.
We have a juicy question. And it is, here's the subject line, Iliza. Are you ready? It is, can I tell Iliza's ex's wife he sucks?
Probably.
Please keep me anonymous.
Okay.
Hi, AA crew. I'm going to keep it short because I'm burning inside with what I need to do. This weekend, I, 31 female, went to a bar with a few friends and ended up going back to a cute guy's hotel and having sex with him. He was from out of town, allegedly, so I didn't think the hotel thing was that weird. I should have known better. Cut to this week when I do a quick Google to find out he is not from out of town and he has a whole wife and kids. A little deeper Google had me finding he is also Liza's ex. I feel sick.
I'm sorry, that face was because there's the gardener
Why is
with the
there a
leaf
gardener
blowers
right-
outside. It's this. My whole podcast studio abuts the side gate of our sprawling backyard.
This is not getting this is the most exciting thing that's ever happened on the show. And there's stuff going on.
I was trying to silence the area so that we could give it the grace that the story of this magnitude deserves. Okay, go on. So you had sex with an ex-boyfriend of mine.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's not the psycho that I made a movie about.
Right.
You're on your own.
She watched your movie and she was like, no.
It's like, I'm going to find, he's my soulmate. Okay. Oh my God.
All right. I feel sick because I never would hook up intentionally with a married man. I need to know, can I message the wife?
Oh my God.
I'm sure she knows he's a scumbag, but I'm so angry and want to ruin his life. But will that just be ruining the kids' lives? Love you all so much. SOS.
We get this question a lot about, do I reach out to the other woman, like girl code? Now, at least you were honest because you're like, I want to ruin his life. Let me just say this. Did he promise you anything? You guys had sex the night that you met. You're not in love. He didn't say he loved you. He didn't say you guys were going to date. I can't say a lot of like first sex on the first night things blossom into eternal, mind melting, loving relationships. You would be doing it because you feel used. Whatever this person said to you, I mean, it doesn't, even if he was like, I'd love to see you again. Like, what you will be doing, this guy's probably cheated before.
100%.
I'm not taking away from like how gorgeous you are. Do you really want that? Like, do you really, I know that like you're a young girl and it's like, fuck this. What he did was awful, but like, it's almost too dirty to deal with. It would be different if you guys had dated and he was seeing you constantly. I mean, that sucks that he and his wife had like maybe a falling out or something. He got a hotel and he cheated on her. I guarantee you're not the only one. I guarantee the wife has some idea. Do you want this on your hands now? Do you want him calling you? Do you want the wife calling you for details and you hear the kids in the background? Like, do you want this mess? It sucks because you probably liked him, but like, do you want to deal with all that? You're so angry and you should be. Do you want to like live in this person's world further? Like, do you want to get a DM from them? Do you want them to reach out to you? Do you want to feel now weird that you did that he's going to say something like, do you want all of that? Isn't this messy enough?
I think the piece that I really understand here is that she feels guilty because she would not have slept with a married man. So he made her party to that without her consent. So
correct.
Do you feel, question asker, that telling her would make you feel less guilty? I don't think it. Now, I'm always like, yeah, tell him.
You don't feel guilty. She doesn't feel guilty. She's angry. There's a difference.
Well, that too.
She doesn't feel guilty. She's mad that he dragged her into this and he made you feel like dirty and you didn't sign up for this. And you're just this like innocent girl going out like you should be doing. And like, that's not part of the contract. The contract is like, we're just having sex. This is a fun time. But you obviously also liked him. So I'm annoyed if this person said stuff to you to make you feel like this was going to be more. Because if it was just a one night stand, like, yeah, that sucks that he cheated on his wife, but like no promises were made. So I would need to know more context, but I'm not going to ask for it because then you're
culpable, right? You could text someone and get involved, right? Iliza, you could say, my ex-boyfriend is cheating. Do I tell his wife?
The other version is like, this woman is with her kids that they have together, doing her best as a mom. She knows her husband's maybe a piece of shit, or maybe they're not doing well, or maybe he does this, or she's delusional. He's going to be like, yeah, this girl was obsessed with me. I never did any of that. And then she's going to be calling you for details. Like, do you want to be embroiled? That's my question, is like, you're so hurt. And maybe it's a lesson in the future about how quickly you listen to someone or sleep with someone, or you should have done the Google search before or something. There are people out there who are going to fuck you over, and that is just a part of dating, and it sucks, and I'm sorry, but paying the pain, not even forward, but like laterally to this other woman who probably is living in her own personal hell already, or you're the first one that blows up her bubble. It's just so messy is the word.
Right. Right.
It'd be different if you guys dated. Then you'd definitely be entitled to be like, no, I'm going to fuck you. Be like, you hate this guy this much who you only had sex with once? How bad was that sex? You're like, we had bad sex and you made me help you cheat on your wife. Right. And I never got off.
Oh,
that's awful. I'm sorry that happened to you. And by the way, him being my ex-boyfriend has nothing to do with anything. I'm obviously the most fun girl any guy's ever dated. Well, and when I break up with them, what they would always say was, but you're so fun. I'd be like, well, you should have made this easier. You should have been more fun.
I think you're so funny. I don't know if fun is the first adjective.
No, I am so fun.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to go sit in the green room of the Tonight Show in my 20s and get free snacks? Oh, no. You just want to go to a Chili's? Okay, cool. Oh, you don't want to go to a gig and get wasted after?
No.
I was a late 20s, early 30s girl with disposable income. And like my days and nights mostly free. Like, yeah, I'm a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Take half a Percocet, drink 3 vodka sodas, and just like you have money to like pay for yourself to do shit. I was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Still am.
That's
why you worked for me for so long.
Yeah, but at work we're not having fun. I mean, we had a nice time, but it was.
I'm that boss. That's like, aren't we having fun, team? You're like, I'm in a work suit. I got half price at Marshall's, and I'm in your basement. I guess I'm also like, oh, I feel so rattled. I have zero connection to any ex-boyfriend. Like, there's no, like, and we talk all the time, and I look at them on Facebook. Like, I'm fully lobotomized as a married woman with 2 kids. Like, I'm just like, okay.
I might be friends with more of your exes on Facebook than you are.
You're on Facebook, period, and I'm not. Like, who are you friends with?
Several random men have added me. Who's that?
No.
The guy? Yes. Do you want me to list people?
Yeah, I do.
The guy from Hawaii.
Oh, he's nice.
He's nice. I know.
He went to Harvard. That's not a boyfriend. Someone that you like casually.
Okay, people you went
with. That's not a boyfriend.
Okay, but do you think you're friends on Facebook with more people that you've casually?
These are not real. These are not my friends.
Okay,
this is Facebook.
Well, we're Facebook friends.
Okay, I'm sorry that you think that third space is like real.
All right, let's get into it.
He's great. If you need if you're in a legal jam, I bet he'd help you.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, because I'm not going to go through and delete people. That to me is weirder. Actually, no, I did go and unfollow someone who a friend divorced because I was like, good, I don't have to see them anymore.
Literally nobody cares. Like the fact nobody has the balls to be like, excuse me, Emily, I know we met once 8 years ago at an ice cream social, but I see that you've actually someone with that voice. Okay, well, that's crazy.
I know, very exciting.
The fact that my heart rate has not gone up one bit, I'm just like, I don't care.
I know, you're so casual.
I also, I mean, we can move on. Move on. Yeah.
That's we want more questions like that, though.
I wanted all the drama.
Mm-hmm. That is juicy.
It's juicy. Hi. I
was the one who wrote in the question.
You actually, yeah.
Trying to go back to bad relationships and be like, maybe we can make it work.
Hi, AI crew. One of the earliest fans of Iliza here. I was one of the 20 people who used to watch the weekly news live every week before Iliza went on Last Comic Standing.
Just letting you guys know, 20 years later, I did that. So ask me about it. Look me up on Wikipedia.
Unlike AIA's demographic, I think I was one of the only girls in that chat back then. Was your
maybe.
weekly news chat pretty male dominated?
Yeah, it was like it was like a live chat show where like I wore my underwear and like it was like a dork. It was fun, but it was mostly men
Right.
who were like, "Oh, she's funny, but she's in her underwear," and I was like, "I know."
Right.
watching.
Right. Was this around
Yeah.
the time that you were like a MySpace girl of the week?
Yeah, this was also like a time where like the internet was like more of a male space, like
Yeah.
men who understood computers. Like, I'll never have a Mac. It's always going to be a PC so I can customize it.
Well, our listener says while they were one of the
Yes.
earliest fans, don't worry, I still fill the demographic. I'm a lesbian female in my 30s with a master's degree.
There you go. There you go. There's that box. All right.
I have hopefully a simple question. I have been getting Facebook messages from my wife's friend's mom. I have known my wife's friend for over a decade and know her mom from parties, weddings, cookouts, etc. That's not the problem.
I'm sorry. Can we pause this? Did you already read this one?
You probably read it on the Patreon.
You can keep all this, but this is a problem where like sometimes I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to read that Patreon. And then I'm like, did Emily already read this? Okay. Well, I didn't finish it. So go ahead. My wife's friend's mom.
Yes. That she's seen at like cookouts. So the problem isn't that she's messaging her. It's that the mom is messaging me multiple times a week.
Our mom doesn't know she's doing it.
Our friend just had a baby and the mom keeps sending pictures of her and the baby. The mom of the friend, not the friend. Or just a picture of the baby. This was before the baby was announced and there are no messages attached, just the pictures. The mom is not messaging my wife, though the friend is a childhood friend of my wife's. I've replied back, hearted the pictures, etc. So amazing.
Your first mistake.
I know.
You fed the animal.
So amazing she wants to share the pictures and that she's so happy to be a grandmother. But this mom is also a little unhinged on social media in general. Think a boomer with political opinions that will post a sentence on a bright purple, pink, swirly background. How do I nicely communicate that I'm happy she's happy, but I just don't have time to keep up with the messages? I'm a busy working mom with a 3-year-old. I can barely keep up with the people I know well and want to talk to. Or do I just continue to heart the messages hoping it will pass? For context, she's someone that will always reply to every story I post. So it's not just excitement of the new grandchild. Thanks in advance.
This is on Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Can you mute her?
Yeah, you can mute. I think you mute the thread.
Honestly, I also get a lot of people on Instagram tag me in reels. I think whether people realize it or not, like you get through, I don't know if Instagram does the same thing, but I would imagine they have the same mechanism because it's owned by the same company. If there's like a grouping, like there is a version, I deeply believe this, where she doesn't realize she's sending it to you. Like it could be every time she sends a picture, it goes to like close family and friends. And so it's not really to you. It will cause no harm whatsoever to either mute her or unfriend this person. I know people like put a lot of weight behind this, but like it's not a big deal. She probably won't even know. And if she does bring it up, be like, that's so weird. I didn't do it. But just duck out, mute it, restrict it, whatever. You don't need to respond. There is something, and I'm not a social scientist, I kind of am, about like the mental bandwidth we have for internet runoff. Like, even though it's like, don't look at the comments, don't read all your messages, constantly being pinged and inundated with hearts, messages, mail emojis, likes, like even in my email, when it's just a notification from another part of my business or junk mail, it gets frustrating. It kind of like, I don't know, jolts your nervous system because it's just another thing and it's empty. It's empty calories. It would be like if you just ate Doritos all day. Like you're not full. It's not helping. This isn't protein. These aren't the carbohydrates I want. And so on top of all the things you're doing, you're getting this person that's like, and my kid, and my picture, and me, LOL, da-da-da. Try to, and I am working through this by myself as someone who has, I would call it an addiction. I'm Iliza, addiction to the internet. To mitigate the amount of digital taps that you get. Like she's never gonna mention it. She'll never notice it. You don't need to spend any time as like a working mom thinking about what this like random woman who knows you by proxy thinks about you. That's it. Care less, unfriend, mute, move on. It's not like you guys connected and you're friends and she's like, this is your cousin's baby. Like, she's not your mom. Like, you don't need this. There's family members I answer like 1 out of every 3 texts. I'm just like, sorry, I'm from LA. I'm just unaware.
I wonder who else she's sending those baby pictures to, and if the mother of the baby is knows that the baby's pics are being blasted all over.
She probably some parents don't care, but like this, I money on this that this woman doesn't realize she's doing it. Because I'll get tagged in the most random reels by people I know, and I just ignore them. I don't open them. No one's ever been like, did you see my reel? Other than my mom, but I'm like, it's a lot of reels. But I'm just like, I think a lot of people don't realize they're tagging you or sending it. That's it. You got lumped in. Move on. It means nothing to her. It can mean nothing to you.
Hi,
sorry. What's the worst that could happen? She stopped sending them because you hurt her feelings. Great. Mission accomplished.
Hi, Eliza and Emily, Rizzoli, and Isles. Your podcast began my love of podcasts. I've been a fan of yours since Elder Millennial. I am a Gen Xer, 50-year-old high school teacher. Yes, I am taking classes to get another certification. Please call me Joan. That's your listener. That's perfect.
Hey, Joan. I will call you Joan. You call me by my name. It's Joan.
And it's not Joan, but that's what we're calling her. I am very independent and enjoy my life for the most part. I have a few friend groups and plenty of activities to keep me busy. I've tried dating apps on and off with meh to terrible results. For example, a so-so guy I was taking a chance on decided he was too busy for a relationship after a few dates. He is a bread salesman, such a Pete Campbell. Who's Pete Campbell?
Pete Campbell.
Hold on.
Is that the guy that was accused of child molestation from Seventh Heaven? Weren't they the Campbells?
They were the Campbell. Okay, no, but Pete Campbell is the guy on Mad Men with the back hairline.
Oh,
Vincent Kartheiser or whatever is that?
He had to he had to shave that.
Yeah, him.
That's like he's a bread salesman. When I was in Dublin, I had a driver who I'd had him twice, the 2 times I've been to Dublin, and he kind of gives me like a little tour, talks about the Irish Civil War. Oh, it's a big fight, brother against brother, and he kind of goes into the whole thing. And he's like very intense and doesn't really let you yes and anything. I'll be like, yeah, I read about that. I'll be like, anyway. And he's very serious. And we asked him, we're like, so are you married? Do you have kids? He's like, no time for a family, not in this line of work. And we're like, you pick up people from the airport.
No time.
No, there's no time. Not in this line of work. Like a bodyguard for M6. No, there's no time. I'm a bread salesman. There's no time.
All right. So this bread salesman was too busy for a relationship. I finally have healed from an extremely unhealthy on and off relationship with my ex-husband. We have a 14-year-old daughter together. I've been doing some work on myself and I'm feeling pretty good. The problem, I'm finally putting myself out there in the dating scene, but it's going nowhere. Everyone I work with or hang out with is married or in a serious relationship. The area I live in, people tend to marry early. Honestly, I rarely see or meet anyone I am remotely interested in. I'm worried that I won't be attracted to anyone and maybe no one is attracted to me. It sucks dating at this age. I think I am attractive and fun, but my experience with my ex has brought me down a bit. I don't go out to bars or clubs anymore, of course, and I realize that my personality is not as outgoing as it once was. A friend of mine, Peggy, is considering a matchmaker, but that is cost prohibitive for me. I'm not even sure I want a serious relationship, but I would like male company from time to time. I hate that I am whining about this, but deep down, I'm a romantic and I'm not ready to give up just yet and would rather be alone than settle 100%. Love you both. Laugh out loud at your sibling-like rumbles when taking my walk.
Get online. Get online. Start talking to some guys. You're also missing companionship. And at your age, you're not all you're all dried up and tired. Like you still got a lot of life in you and you deserve companionship in a relationship. But these things take work. And at every stage, it's difficult. In your 20s, nobody takes you seriously. In your 30s, everyone's getting married. And at your age, probably people are married or, divorced and remarried. And there's kind of nothing left for you. So you're at a disadvantage because you're in an area where everybody's kind of already paired off. So expand your search. Expand your search. I would download all the apps. You have nothing to lose. Because at the very least, you could have companionship with someone you're texting with. Maybe they come visit you. You know, you're not looking for a full-time husband to help you raise your kids. You're at a place where you could kind of have maybe a weekend romance or something. I would be open to entertaining all possibilities. Maybe it is a weekend thing. Maybe you guys have to drive. Maybe you only see each other a few times a month. Maybe you have to fly somewhere. But it'll at least get your feet wet. And it'll kind of get your juices flowing. So I would start downloading those apps. I don't know where you live. There's also farmers only, like maybe you're in a rural area, but keep putting it out there because we don't get anywhere and find anyone by saying to the universe, like, I guess I'm just done. It's too hard. It's not just going to show up. This is not a Hallmark movie. He's not going to come over to paint your house and fall in love when you guys have to like save the village cookie bake sale or something. So that's what I would do. I would make a great profile, get someone younger to help you and start talking. Be careful and don't give your banking information. Thanks so much, Joan.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Joan.
Okay.
I'm serious. Like, you need to know that. And get someone younger to verify that that person's a real person. And, like, not secretly CGI. Check the fingers. Make sure they're not weird looking. So you know it's a human. Okay. Said it. I meant it and I said it.
All right. Let's do a confession.
Also, I did see that one. I'm sorry. On the Patreon. And you got really pretty eyes. You should play those up.
Oh, okay.
She's like tan with light eyes.
Yeah. All right, Joan, get going.
Okay. Let me know.
Yeah. We're going to do a confession. Hello, AIA crew. My name is Natalie. I met Iliza at her show in Maryland in August and gifted the Top of the Cob coffee. I've been a fan of Iliza since 2017 and a fan of the podcast. No date on that.
Just the year.
I finally have something to finally write in for a confession. For context, I got out of my active duty career in May from North Carolina. I went to the Guard in Pennsylvania, and I'm back to school full time.
Wow.
Over the Veterans Day weekend, a group of us veterans took ourselves out for a dinner and drinks. We've been talking about the dinner for weeks, but no group chat was created. I don't go out much, but really wanted to go to the dinner. And my friends drive me, and when I got there, I asked if there'd be any other females joining for the evening. One of the guys mentioned a name that sounded familiar was bringing his wife. I asked him to repeat the name. It was the name of a guy I dated when I was younger, about 10 years ago, before my military career. And throughout my career, we maintained a friendship. About 2 years ago, he got married. He asked to go no contact because his wife didn't want us talking. I'm not sure what was said between the two of them or what she knew about me. I still respect his wishes and wished him a happy life. So we're at dinner and the names come up. I immediately told the table about the no contact and enough context for the moment. The guys asked if I was going to be all right. I said I would be fine. I'm mature about it. When they finally arrived and walked in, she did not acknowledge me, and his face went from shocked to really mad very quickly. They sat down for about a minute or two before she stormed out of the restaurant, and he went after her, and they proceeded to have a spat. They did not return. We all found it hilarious because none of us knew we would have the same friends. None of us could have predicted any of the events that took place. It's a very small world, and chances happening were unpredictable. I still felt badly for being a sore subject for them after all this time. I'm not the same person I am now that I was years ago, and a lot of details have been long forgotten. We still enjoyed our night and had a fun time.
Oh, yeah, this isn't an advice thing. This is a confession.
This is a confession.
Oh, what's the confession? That you feel bad? You did something. Something's up.
I think
he loves you.
At the end, when it says, I feel badly for being a sore subject for all this time, I'm not the same person now. A lot of details have been long forgotten.
Okay, your confession was you were a little sex pot and you did something fucked up and he was really into you. Maybe he met her and like he cheated with you, something. But you know what? You have just as much a right to order a bloomin' onion and have a nice night as that lady.
Just as much right.
I was hoping that was more of an advice one because I was like, fuck her, fuck that.
So
fuck
many
him.
of our confessions now are people shitting themselves. So I'm trying to also ask some of the other ones. I mean, read some of the
All
other
of our
ones.
confessions involve someone shitting themselves.
So I'm trying to go into the basket for elsewhere.
Okay, let's do another question.
Hey, Iliza and Emily, this is a heavy one, FYI, but you can handle it. That's also why I didn't want to read a shit one right before we answer.
Lighten the mood with a little bit of shit, and then we'll get right into it. Okay.
I just want to say Thank you for all that you have and continue to do with the pod and your comedy. I've been a fan of yours since I saw you perform at the Gonzo Theater in LA. I think it was maybe early 2008. You had your long hair and a pink streak with Blanche in tow. True icons.
Sounds like me.
Sounds like
Gonzo
2008.
Theater. I don't even know what that is.
It's probably closed.
Definitely.
Here is where I need some advice/insight. My apologies if this is a bummer. I am a 39-year-old only child raised by a single mother who is one of 9 siblings.
Woof.
In December of 2023, I found out my mother, 64, had been hiding a very serious illness she never shared with anyone, not even the sisters she lived with. A week before Christmas, I brought my aunt along with me to drop off some groceries, and we saw just how sick she was. We were in shock. February of 2024, we found out her diagnosis was terminal cancer. 3 weeks after that, she passed away. It was such a whirlwind of stress, sadness, grief, and anger. I was so overwhelmed with all these choices I had to make. What hospice facility I could afford until she passes. What post-mortem arrangements needed to be set in place. I am truly thankful I had my husband and my aunt as support. Her anniversary is coming up on the 14th of March, and I still haven't had a funeral/celebration of life for her. I don't know what to do. I've thought about having a family barbecue at my cousin's house, who's centrally located, to all of my mom's siblings. Only one sibling needs to fly from the East Coast. So that leaves like 7 more that are right around there. But all of her siblings are in their late 60s, early 70s, and not in the greatest health. Since I have her urn, do I take it with me and visit her siblings so they can have their moments with her? Can I send out a gift of remembrance and program for them? My mom and I aren't.
Can you send a little bit of the ashes to each person?
Well,
is that weird? Okay.
My mom and I aren't very religious, so a formal funeral didn't feel right. My mom had it her way. Attending a Bon Jovi or Motley Crue concert would have been sufficient. Any insight suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for all you both do for taking the time to read this. Eliza, I think yes, but I think you would just ask for like, hey, I would love to get something made for you with the ashes jewelry. Like, I wouldn't just send ashes.
Somebody who's 70, like they don't need it. I mean, it's a thought. What would feel good for you? Like your mom wants that concert, maybe you could do that. But I think for closure, and I think for these, I think you do both. I think you throw that barbecue and hopefully people can come, and that will make you feel good to be around people that have memories of your mom that you don't have. And then I would do a Zoom. I know no one likes Zoom, but like that way nobody has to fly in, or if it's too far of a drive, or if they're not feeling well, and you can sit on the Zoom and they could go around, they can tell stories and do them on the same day, or, be like who can make what. But those are the things that you do, and everything else needs to be for you. Because you lost your mom and they lost their sister, but the bulk of this burden is falling on you. So do those 2 things, and everyone else. Look, my parents are not dead, and I'm sure when they do die and I have an urn, I'll feel differently. But like, she lives in your heart. She doesn't live in that urn. And she lives in whatever memories you keep of her and the way that you speak about her. So do what your mom would want and do what works for you. There's no reason to bend over backward. I love the barbecue idea. And do a little Zoom. That way you can see everyone. It would be nice.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Because I think you will benefit from seeing these people and have them sharing their memories of her.
I don't know what to do, folks. Make the barbecue a potluck. You do not need to cater it for all these people.
What about the 70-year-olds want to bring
of course.
A bunch of big buckets?
That's not that old. And you don't want to get stuck with like, some of them are vegan. And then someone, Uncle Charles doesn't eat tripe. So bring it in. Just, you don't want to get stuck with that bill.
Fair.
Just provide something, maybe a couple of mains, but people need, and then you can write in about like the tacky thing your Aunt Susan brought. She thought it would be okay to bring a chocolate fountain to a wake, and it wasn't. Okay.
Hi, Liza and Emily. I am a 34-year-old female, not a nurse or grad student, but a government employee who is currently on a 3-year assignment in Europe. Huge fan of the podcast, which was my...
You're allowed to talk about that?
It was my lifeline while living on my own in a country that doesn't speak English. My husband was in the military when I moved here and couldn't join me for the first year.
Oh, my God.
It made me feel like I had 2 friends keeping me company in my quiet and lonely apartment. Now the details. I know.
That's why we're here.
My best friend, we'll call her Ashley, and I met when we were 4 years old and have spent most of our friendship, a 30-year friendship, living in separate states. We've always seen each other as sisters, been part of each other's families, and her 2 sons call me auntie. In 2020, Ashley and her boyfriend, we'll call him Kevin, broke up and went to court for custody of her oldest. There was gaslighting, fighting, a court-ordered paternity test for the youngest with whom she was pregnant. She was supposed to celebrate my 30th birthday with me, but he threatened to call the police for child kidnapping if she left the state with my nephew, so she was forced to cancel. Ashley was my maid of honor for my wedding in 2023. She wasn't involved much and didn't plan my bachelorette, but I figured it was the distance of living on different continents. The week of my wedding,
You think?
The week of my wedding, she came out early with her son, but spent most of the time FaceTiming with Kevin, with whom she got back together earlier in the year, and not interact with my family or bridesmaids. The day after my wedding, I asked if she had a good time, and she said, I enjoyed spending time with my son. I was hurt by her answer, and although a month later she explained it was because of her social anxiety, it felt like a small fracture in our friendship that couldn't be mended. Fast forward to summer 2024. My husband and I found out we were pregnant with our first child. She was very excited for me, but didn't really engage much with my pregnancy. In December, at 30 weeks, we ended up losing our daughter, and the past 3 months have been the darkest moments of my life. She was there for me when I initially told her, but many of our talks since then tend to be about her life and relationship, which, shockingly, is crumbling again. Occasionally she will ask, how are you doing? Followed by, that sucks, when I talk about my grief or my daughter. I know people grow apart, but we've been through so much together that I cannot fathom the idea we may not be best friends anymore, despite my frustrations of feeling like I'm carrying the friendship. Now, my question is this. What do I do to continue this friendship and get back the best friend I once had? Do you think this is a friendship that has run its course or just has hit a long-distance bump in the road? P.S. Iliza, I saw you in London for the first time December 2023. Hope you come back to Europe soon. Much love to you both.
Still trying to figure out what country speaks no English.
I know. I'm intrigued.
Maybe it's a small one. Your friend is living in a personal nightmare.
Right.
There is no... I'm not so much excusing it as much as just like giving this context. Like, you're already so consumed by your children as a mother. She has 2 kids and a husband who's a piece of shit. And you've gone back to him and it's fraught. And obviously there's some kind of weird connection there. And I don't know if it's abusive or normal. And this guy loves to take up her time. But she is so unhappy and she can't get out of it. And so there's kind of not a lot of room left for a friend who is not there every day. It is not as simple as when we were young. And it's not as simple as when one's pregnant, the other one can be excited. She's just living in her own personal hell. And so it's tough because your relationship is suffering because of it. What?
I also think, when you're saying she wasn't engaging with the pregnancy as much as you wanted,
Yeah.
I think it is the most important thing in your life and your friends should be there for you, but it is not the most important thing in their life.
No.
Like if for the first, now she should have been there for you more after you lost the baby, but while you were pregnant, what was she supposed to be doing?
And it's also like pregnancies are so personal and like every woman is different with them. And we also, as we become mothers, have these or actually, just as women, have these expectations about how these major milestones are supposed to look. We've had people write in about, their announcement and who do we tell? And I don't want to let anyone know I'm pregnant. And we did IVF and I want that congratulations. And I want this wedding and I want this thing. So we have all these ideas and then they are always these imperfect things that are actually perfect because they were yours. So I guess the question is, she might say to you, like, what did you, like Emily's saying, what did you want me to do? Like fly in, organize with your friends, a baby shower. This woman already has her kids. So there is something, while we do remember the joy of being pregnant, like you're a little too consumed by your kids on another continent with a husband who is making your life hard. Like this woman can't breathe. And I'm not saying like she's not part of, takes 2 to tango in terms of like a bad relationship, but like you're not there day to day. So being friends with you is a little bit like a chore. And you are just starting off on this journey in terms of like building your family. And she's miles ahead of you and already regretting so many choices. And every day is probably just an absolute slog for her. So you either have to wrap your mind around the fact that this is the new relationship and she's a little bit different and it's not pointed. Or you can have a talk with her, but the talk is going to be tough because you're going to be like, you're not making enough room for me. And she's like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm like in the middle of like a wedding divorce at all times. And I have these 2 kids and we're in different time zones, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I think It doesn't have to be angry, but is there a way you can kind of just feel bad that she's going through this and focus on the friends that are around you? Because even if she was the best friend ever, like she's not there. You guys can't go get that coffee. She can't be with you to help raise whatever child you eventually have, you know? So it's a mourning. We always, as women, are mourning the loss of the way that we were when we were younger. When you have kids, you mourn in a weird way the person you were before. It doesn't mean that you regret anything, but we're constantly becoming new, not always better, but just different versions of ourselves. And even if you got her back, you guys have both been through so much right now that like you're just kind of not the same. You know, I think you're hurt because you went through something that was beautiful and you were hoping she'd be there in perhaps the way you were for her, but times changed. And then you went through something awful and she wasn't calling you every day or anything. I don't even know if you would have wanted that. So I think you just kind of have to recalibrate what this friendship is. And maybe she comes back around. Maybe she divorces him and she's feeling better. Maybe there is a way to talk about it, but what are you going to ask her to do? Like say, I'm sorry, I should have done more. I just feel bad for your friend.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Don't put too much effort into this friendship, but I don't think you have to like end it either. Like, I think it just be there. And if you move back to America, it's a different conversation.
And are you being truthful? Like if you called her and you're like, I just had the worst day, would she be like, that sucks anyway? Like, is she being a piece of shit or is she just kind of aloof and just like holding on for dear life? Like, are you putting a little too much charge on that? But if you called her with like a real problem, like my best friend, we seldom talk. We always miss each other because we're always trying to call when one of us is walking our dog. But like, and I often decline her calls and she never picks up the phone. But if I was like, I need to talk to you right now, would your friend pick up that phone?
Yeah.
Or would it be like a day later, like, hey, just seeing this? The way that first lady should be when the friend's mom texts her pictures of the baby. That's what I think.
Good work. Top of the cob.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
All right. That's like good work. It's so complicated. Good job, buddy. It's like having sex with a guy. You're like, high five.
No, I thought I was just putting like a little cap on it. Like,
Good work.
All right, we're moving. It was my transition.
This is my transition.
All right, bottom of the cob.
All right, here's my bottom of the cob. It is from it's not new. This Carl Sagan book that I'm reading called The Demon Haunted World. And it's my bottom of the cob because sometimes you read stuff and you're like, oh no. Like it was also, I was going to have it be top and bottom, but basically this book was written in 1995. And he says, it's perilous and foolhardily. Jesus Christ, Eliza. This is why I need to read more. It's perilous and foolhardy for the average citizen to remain ignorant about global warming, say, or ozone depletion, air pollution, toxic and radioactive waste, acid rain, topsoil erosion, tropical deforestation, exponential population growth. And he says that in the context of people not getting the right information and getting too much disinformation, which really wasn't a term back then, but it's all commentary on pseudoscience and people ignoring the big things that are happening because you've got like your own like weird ideas. Now in 1995, we didn't really have the internet as we do now, but we're dealing with the same thing now of people just ignoring stuff and filling in the gaps and making up their own like pop culture lore to figure out what's going on around them. And nobody's actually like scientifically minded or listening to anything real. And it was just interesting that even that long ago, people were completely ignoring all the things that are problems and filling in their own gaps. And I just thought that was fascinating. And he also talks about how even going back to Plato, like it's on record of him being like, this new generation can't read. They're the worst. They're so stupid. Basically, all the things that we feel now that people felt about millennials, that people feel about Gen Z. And so all this is to say, it's history just constantly repeats itself. So in a weird way, I'm comforted because the world hasn't ended. But the fact that back then, before we all had phones glued to our faces, he was like, yeah, it's a scary thing when people don't know any facts and just make up whatever they want at all times.
Yeah.
It's actually a very comforting book, and it feels really good to read that and not look at my Instagram. So that's my bottom of the cup.
Yeah. Yeah, bottom. We have a fan bottom. I am touring a wedding venue, and apparently it's a group tour with other people interested in renting the venue. I love the
awful.
location, but I definitely have the ick because who doesn't want to feel like they're the only one in the world getting married? I want to cancel it now, but don't know if I'm being dramatic.
And also, like, what if they want that same date? It's like when you all go to an open
fight,
house.
yeah.
It just feels competitive and weird and not special. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would cancel and be like, I need my own tour and I can only see it at 2 a.m. So you want to feel special.
My bottom is, when your phone, you go to pick up your phone and you like tap it and it just stays black and it takes, and you think, oh, it's dead forever. That happens to me every few weeks. And every time I think that's it. Eliza, you wanted specificity in these. You wanted.
Just listening. You're the one spiraling. You're the one acting crazy. Yeah.
That's never happened to you.
Well, because it's not about that. It's just like you realize how attached you are to this phone.
If it doesn't work, how do I get a new one?
You don't get a boarding pass. Your whole life is analog. You're making toast with your feet. It's over.
It's over. It's over.
It's over.
Top of the cab.
My top of the cob is last night I committed to doing a show on the opposite end of Los Angeles. I mean, it's really only 20 minutes away, but still, it was raining. I didn't want to go. And a high school friend, we were very close in high school. I didn't really know he lived here, but he texted me and he was like, are you going to be at this bar? It's down the street from my house. And I was like, okay, dope. Like I was having a really bad day. I didn't feel like seeing anyone. I didn't want to schlep all the way there, but I did. The set was fine, but I saw my friend and there was just something nice about being around someone that's known you almost your whole life, even though we never talk now. And also, like, it was not a great neighborhood, so it was nice to have someone like big, like walk me to my car. But there was just something really calming about not having to do or be anything but the most reduced version of yourself when you're tired. And he was just like, I'm just happy to see you. Like, it was just a nice, easy hang. It wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't an industry thing. It wasn't a friend that you have to devote energy to. And it was just like, oh yeah, this person's known me since I was 14 years old. I don't have to be any version of myself other than just a girl trying to get to her car right now. Like, no expectation. Like, there's just something cool about that when you're around someone like that. That's all.
Yeah, that's nice.
Shout out to Lenon. Thanks for walking in my car.
Oh, all right. Our fan top went on a vacation in the Oregon coast and had the best fish tacos I've ever had. Rockfish tacos with a proportional amount of other things and sauce.
I mean, there you go. The Oregon coast seems beautiful and rockfish is super sustainable. Good for you.
My top of the cob is when it's the kind of weather where you can wear a sweater on top and a shorts on the bottom in your home. I don't wear shorts out for the public, but in my home and getting the mail.
Like skiing in a bikini, which I know you love.
Always.
I know you love it. Today is March 12th. My top of the cob is that you guys are watching my new special, A Different Animal, streaming on Amazon Prime Video. And we're really proud of it. So see you there, and I'll see you in Buffalo and Toronto this weekend. Right?
Sure, yeah, totally.
Limonada.
Maybe they'll make that the song.
Limonada.
They're going to replace I'll let them know.
Oh, a limonada.